Just as we have histograms to visualize a frequency table, we have a way to visualize the 5-number summary, and that is called the box plot. The box plot is a visual of the 5-number summary. Normally, we'll have a box with a line down the middle, sometimes it's dotted, with 2 whiskers sticking out the end to endpoints. This box shows us visually the entire 5-number summary because this first endpoint is the minimum value. The edge of the box is quartile 1. The line in the box is the median. The right edge of the box is quartile 3. And the right endpoint is the maximum value. So if you remember from our previous video, we were looking at the number of pets people owned. And we found the number of pets could be summarized with the 5-number summary of 0, 1, 2.5, 4, and 11. So if we wanted to make a box plot to visualize this 5-number summary, we'll start with a number line. And the number line must be drawn to scale. This helps us see how spread out the different quarters of the box are. So we'll start at 0, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then for the lower end of the box at 0, we'll put a dot. And the upper end of the box plot at 11, we'll put a dot for the maximum and the minimum values. The edges of the box then are at 1 and 4. Those are our quartiles. And then in the middle of that, at 2.5, we'll draw another line. Connecting the whiskers gives us the entire box plot, so we can kind of see how spread out our data is for the number of pets. Now, of course, every good graph has a title and labels. So we'll give this a title, not box plot. That's the type of graph. The title has to be descriptive of what the graph is representing, the number of pets. We're also going to label the x-axis, which is pets. This visual allows us to see then how spread out the number of pets are between our data set. Each part of this box plot has the same number of data values. Inside this first line is 25% of the data. Inside this first box is 25% of the data. Inside the second box is 25% of the data. And inside this long line is 25% of the data. And so that we can see, even though they're different sizes, they have the same number of data values in it. And that's going to give us an idea of how spread out the data is. Now, a couple notes that I want to make on the box plot. The first note, and we've kind of alluded to this already, is each section of the box plot has the same number of data values. Turns out it's 25% of the data value in each part of the graph. Also, every good box plot will have a descriptive title and labels. We can also describe the shape of that graph as symmetrical, if it looks like it's the same on each side, or skewed. Looking up at the graph that we drew, I see there's a lot of extra stuff on the right. It's not symmetrical. The right side is extended out. I could say my graph is skewed to the right to describe my graph. Speaking of the description of the graph, we can also describe the box which is describing the middle 50% of our data. So while the entire graph that I have above is skewed to the right, because we had that one person that was way out there with 11 pets, the middle 50% is actually symmetrical. And that kind of ignores those values that are way out there, extreme values with 11 pets, and looks that most people are kind of symmetrical right around that median value. That middle 50% is symmetrical. These box plots help us visualize what's going on with that 5-number summary.